Good morning, everyone. So good to see everybody. We're going to get started in just a minute. Good morning, everyone. Co-chairs Johnson and Cruz. It looks like we have quorum.
Excellent. Thank you, Haley. And I just opened the new agenda and can't find it on my computer, so give me just a moment, please. You think I'd have this memorized by now. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Maricopa Regional Continuum of Care Committee meeting. Just a reminder for all participants, please mute your phone or computer when not speaking, and please do not put your phone on hold. For all participants, we ask that you identify yourself prior to speaking so that those who are not in the room or online can know who is speaking. Committee members, just a reminder not to use the chat function as the watching audience cannot see it. Before we proceed with roll call, I would like to take a moment to recognize Sylvia Chavez and Shayla Schuster, who have stepped down from the Continuum of Care Committee. We hate to see them go, and we want to thank them for their service as committee members and acknowledge all of their hard work on and off the community. We wish them nothing but the best in their future endeavors. We know that priorities change over time, and we appreciate everything that you both have contributed. It's time to ask Haley to proceed with roll call. Please indicate you are here and your organization name after Haley calls your name. Haley?
Thank you. John Bogart. Vanessa Carthel.
Present. Vanessa Carthel, ABC Housing. Sorry about that.
No worries. Allison Cook Davis.
Hi, Morrison Institute for Public Policy, and I'm here.
Thank you. Callie Lamers for Erin Cowan Haig.
Present. Callie Lamers for Save the Family.
Jessica Cruz. Kathy Dinolfi.
Kathy Dinolfi, present, a new leaf.
DC Ernst. Nicole Gibson. Anne Marie Johnston.
Anne Marie Johnston, present, Community Bridges.
Christina Lopez.
Christina Lopez, Native American Connections.
Janet Flores for Mercy McFarland.
Janet Flores, present, Homey.
Jim McPherson. Jennifer Page.
Good morning, Jennifer Page from Mercy Care.
Gerardo Pena.
Hi, good morning. Gerardo Pena, present from Chicanos por la Causa.
Aaron Rain.
Aaron Rain, present, City of Mesa.
Tyler Rosensteel. Sarah Sims.
Sarah Sims, Phoenix Elementary School District number 1.
Laura Scott-Nicky.
Scott-Nicky, the Salvation Army.
Michelle Stokes.
Stokes, present, Behold Charities.
Jocelyn Wilkinson. Co-chair Richard Cruz.
Present, Richard Cruz, Human Services Campus.
Co-chair Wendy Johnson.
Wendy Johnson, present, Justice Center.
Did I miss anyone? Jessica?
Hi, Jessica Cruz, Housing Authority, Maricopa County. Thank you.
Thank you. Back to you, Co-Chair Johnson.
Thank you, Haley. The next item on the agenda is the call to the audience. Members of the public were given the opportunity to submit written comments related to this meeting at azmag.gov/comment within 1 hour of the posted start time for the meeting, or can join the Zoom meeting by requesting a link from MAG staff or registering on the COC committee meeting event page. We really invite you to do that. If you're wishing to make a comment, please raise your hand in Zoom and you will be invited to unmute at that time. Public comments are limited to 3 minutes. Haley, were there any comments received or anyone who has joined the call to offer comments?
On mute. No comments were received for this item or any item on the agenda, and no one has raised their hand to speak at this time.
We went out. Thank you. We will move on to the next agenda item. Just as a reminder, we have moved to a consent agenda. It is imperative. Our responsibility as committee members is that we read our agenda packet prior to the meeting. Consent agendas will approve multiple items, not just prior minutes at the same time. Committee members can always ask for an agenda item to be pulled off the consent agenda to be heard during the meeting, at which time staff can provide additional information, give a presentation, or answer any questions. Do we have any questions on this before we move forward? Crickets. Anyone? Great. Our next item is approval of the consent agenda. Does any member of the committee have questions or comments on the consent agenda? I'm not seeing any hands or anybody jumping in, so I'm going to take that as a negative. No one has any questions. Could I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
This is Kathy Denolfi. I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Thank you. And we need a second.
Aaron Rain, City of Mesa, second.
Go ahead.
Aaron Rain, City of Mesa, I second.
Excellent. We have a motion from Kathy Denolfi and a second from Aaron Rains. Is there any discussion on this motion? Look at that, 3 times for us to comment and we didn't do it, so that's good. Now I will ask Kaylee to go ahead and proceed with roll call. Please indicate clearly how you vote, saying yay or nay after your name is called. Kaylee.
Vanessa Carthel,
Yay.
Allison Cook Davis,
Yay.
Callie Lammers for Aaron Cowan-Haig,
Yay.
Kathy Denolfi,
Yay.
Jessica Cruz,
Yay.
thank you. Anne Marie Johnston,
Yay.
Christina Lopez,
Yay.
Janet Flores for Mercy McFarland,
Yay.
Jennifer Page,
Yay.
Gerardo Pena,
Yay.
Aaron Rain,
Yay.
Sarah Sims,
Yay.
Laura Scott-Nicky,
Yay.
Michelle Stokes,
Yay.
Co-Chair Richard Cruz,
Yay.
Co-Chair Wendy Johnson.
You're muted, Wendy. You're still muted, Wendy.
Oh,
There we
I'm
go.
sorry. I was saying my keyboard isn't working to release my mute. I vote yay.
Did I miss anyone? Great, the motion passes unanimously. Back to you, Co-Chair.
Excellent. I'm handing this off to Richard, who will be much better managing his mic than I am.
Hello, everybody. Hope you're doing good, feeling good and feeling great on this wonderful October day. The written updates were included in the packet, including a legislative update. Does anyone have any questions about the update memo or discussions on the legislative update? Okay, so we're in Disneyland today because I see lots of Jiminy Crickets. Awesome. We will move to the next agenda item, which is the systems flow dashboard. Stephanie Crum, HMIS Manager Solari, will provide a recap of the systems flow dashboard. I encourage you all to think of what are the questions and conversation that you have that makes this data not just something that we're listening to, but something that is actionable, that moves us and moves our communities. Go ahead, Stephanie.
All right, thank you. Good morning, committee. Let me go ahead and share my screen here real quick. All right, can everybody see okay? Perfect. All right, so on this first page, just want to point out again, if this is the first time you're seeing this, that we do have most of our definitions here, including who we're talking about when we talk about inflow, outflow, how you land on the by name list, and how you would be excluded from the by name list. So give that a review if you have any questions. All right, let's just jump into why we are here. So last month, we were in a really big drop pretty much all across the board. That is starting to level out this month. As we look at our overall number, it didn't rise a whole lot. I mean, for both singles and sort of overall across the board, we're looking at about 1% to 2%. If we look here down at families, they had a bigger rise of about 3%, but it doesn't really show as dramatically on this lower line. So did want to call that out. As we move down to our subpopulations, same thing, we're seeing a bit of a level off, but a couple populations are still dropping. So as we look at our BIPOC population, they had an overall move of about 1%. Most of these all stayed around 1 or 2% increases. However, our unsheltered number is still continuing to decline ever so slightly. It was a 1% from 1518 to 1506, but still a decline. So wanted to point that out. Then we've got our elderly population is also declining. Yeah, so they're about a 2% decline here. Can't see that as dramatic as well. So I did want to point that out. All right. Let's head over to our flow details. I want to spend a little bit more time on this page than we normally do. Up here again at the top, you'll just see the summary of our overall active number there. As we look down at inflow, outflow, again, our inflow is outpacing our outflow. So that's why you see that sort of orange peak over the valley there. As we look down at our inflow, we want to see, okay, who are these people that are coming into our system? It looks pretty similar here, but overall, this is driven by a return from inactive. They've got about a 6% increase, where our new folks coming into the system are at about a 4% rise. And then as we go down here to our outflow detail, we're seeing a very sharp drop here in our unknown negative exits. It's about 33% from 2042 to 1543. But our housing also dropped just a little bit here. We're looking at about a 7% drop. So about 501 to 470 for the month. And one thing I just kind of wanted to point out as I was just looking at this data a little bit ago is that if you kind of look historically at our inflow outflow, let's say pre-pandemic, I looked at the average of like January, February, March, right before COVID and everything hit. Our average intake number was about 1524, and our average housing number was about 474. If you look at it now, we're averaging the last 3 months, we're at what, like 2381, somewhere in here. And we're only housing 491. So in the course of the pandemic, so we're talking over two and a half years now, our inflow has more than doubled. We're looking at 56% increase in the amount of people that are coming into our system or returning to our system, yet our housing has only increased about 4% in that same time. So I just kind of wanted to sit with that for a minute and get your thoughts on that. But does anybody have any questions or comments?
This is Michelle.
So I'll start. I have a question. So when we look at the unsheltered count, if you could scroll back up to that, Stephanie.
Right.
Okay. So with the unsheltered count, like at 1,506, like what are we attributing the drop in it that we saw? Like, do we have any information on like what we're attributing that to? Because at the same time, I'm seeing my counts rise around the campus. And so, you know, to the point that essentially 2/3 of the population that is unsheltered by our count then would be directly around the campus for the county. Because my counts over the month of August have gone from a low of like 950 to a high of 1,062 around the campus. So I'm just curious, like at a time when I'm seeing my numbers go up, like, do we have any understanding of like what's creating a drop across the county in other ways?
That is an excellent question. And I've anticipated that and I have my team looking at it. We actually have a meeting here in about a week or two to see what they discovered. I wanted them to just explore what was happening, whether this was like a drop in outreach contacts, whether, you know, like what was going on. So I'm hoping to have a better update at our next meeting as to what was really going on there with the data. So we are looking at that because I'm very curious as well as to what happened there. Just historically, we just don't see that, not only that big of a drop, but that big of a drop in the peak of summer. So we're definitely exploring that. And I hope to have a better update for you.
Thank you. Michelle. Michelle, you're still muted.
Sorry. Could you look again at the chronic numbers?
At chronic, sure. Let's look at our chronic here. So just an overall drop and then just a little bit of a rise for our total active.
Do we have any knowledge on why it dropped so suddenly?
That's kind of what we're exploring. My team is exploring right now is because it was a drop. We really saw a drop over all the populations. It didn't seem to just affect one population other than unsheltered was the biggest drop. So that's what we're focusing on, but we are looking at what was the overall drop, you know, a result of, and then specifically what we're looking at with unsheltered. That's what we're exploring this month, and hopefully we'll have an update soon.
Okay, whatever it is, we should do it again. Let them drop more.
Yeah, if it was a positive reason, absolutely.
Okay, thank you.
This is Laura from the Salvation Army. I had a quick question on that as well. My question is, with really coming into the end of the first quarter, have we looked at whether our outreach teams have lost staff? And is it possible we're not counting as many because we don't have enough staff on the streets?
Yeah, definitely. I think the data might be a good indication of that. Like if we see a drop in overall contacts, that would be an indication of maybe that there was less staff out there. And then what I'd like to do is, of course, reach out to the outreach collaborative, you know, with whatever we find and kind of talk through that with them, get the perspective, what they were seeing out there on the streets during this time, and just kind of get a holistic view of what was going on.
Hi, this is Wendy Johnson from Justice Center. This is anecdotal, but we saw a significant drop of unhoused homeless in all of our cooling centers in the West Valley in August. We, in particular, those in downtown Glendale or on the edge of Glendale. And it appeared that perhaps a sweep had been done and they might have been pushed down to the campus. Not sure. Phoenix Rescue Mission does a lot of the outreach in Glendale, but I did notice we went from 140 people on Glendale Avenue on a regular basis to 20. So something changed in August, and we did not see it come back in September. So that does raise some concern for me that there was some sort of municipal action that we aren't aware of that triggered that. In addition, I just need to throw this out here. I'm very concerned about the Super Bowl and those unsheltered in Glendale and here in downtown Phoenix. And I'm hoping that we all are making plans for safety and alternative options for folks, so that we don't go through what we went through the last time the Super Bowl was here.
That's great, Wendy. That's really interesting because I think one of my preliminary thoughts was that maybe the reason we were seeing drop in street outreach contacts was because folks were going maybe to cooling centers that were not in HMIS. You know, that was going to be my first thing. So if you're also experiencing a drop in cooling centers, then that throws my idea out the window.
Well, not out the window, because, you know, places like the Salvation Army or Phoenix Rescue may have seen an uptick. But the weather changed dramatically in August as well. And I don't know if that played a factor. We've been tossing that around in the heat relief committee for the last 2 months, trying to figure out what caused that decline.
Very interesting. Thank you.
Vanessa.
Thank you. I just wanted to bring something up for future consideration. With the supplemental NOFA, we all know that that was focused on the unsheltered population. And I'm just interested to see there's a couple new projects that were funded. And I'm interested to see how they impact the unsheltered number as well. To see if we can pull out any. I'm sure those providers will track their own data and let us know how everything goes. But I just think it's something we need to keep in mind with this being a unique opportunity that was out there and a unique time to have projects specifically for unsheltered, high need populations. You know, I think we just need to keep our eye on it as a committee to see what best practices come out of that.
Most certainly, I think that's a great point to raise. It's something for us to look at. Kelly.
I would like to build off of Vanessa's comment. We don't know that we will receive the supplemental funding. We are hopeful that we do. So we just need to all keep our fingers crossed that funding comes through for us. The application will be submitted soon. And also, I don't want to be dramatic in this, but we did receive some information from Maricopa County Health Department about transient deaths related to heat, and the transient deaths are remarkably higher this year so far due to heat relief, even though we had more partners participate across the network. I don't know that can explain what you're seeing, but we do know that this vulnerable population was hit very hard this year during the summer months.
Thank you, Kelly. Are there other comments? If not, we'll move to the next agenda item. Each year, the COC opens up membership, recruitment. Wait, did I skip something? No, I didn't. This is some flow dashboard. Okay. We open up membership and recruitment. The COC committee will discuss current open seats, who will sit on the membership work group, and timeline for recruitment and vote to open membership. Haley will now share information about the current open seats.
Thank you, Co-Chair Cruz. This year, we will have 4 members rotating off the board and 2 others who have recently stepped down. With these vacancies, we'll be seeking members who represent the following perspectives: hospital, medical, mental health agencies, schools and education, and first responders. We would also love to see those from specialty and subpopulations apply. We encourage any and all interested to apply. And back to you, Co-Chair Cruz.
Just a second. Beautiful. Okay, so Thank you, Haley. We will now discuss the membership work group. This work group will review the COC committee membership applications that are received and select the applicants to whom membership will be extended. Does anyone have any questions or is interested in sitting on the membership work group?
Rich, this is Captain Rafi. I'm happy to sit on the work group, depending on schedule and all of that. But I'm happy to volunteer.
And I will say the same thing. I'll volunteer.
Myself as well.
Yep, and Jennifer Page as well.
Awesome. Anyone else? Okay, so thank you so much to all those who volunteered to sit on the membership work group. MAG staff will be reaching out to schedule the work group. Could I not have a motion to open new committee member recruitment?
I'll motion to open up new member recruitment.
Laura Scott Nikki moves. Is there a second?
Wendy Johnson seconds.
Laura Scott Nikki moves and Wendy Johnson seconds. It has been properly moved and seconded. Do we have any questions or discussion necessary? Okay, so if there are no questions, I'll now have Haley to proceed with a roll call vote. Please indicate clearly how you vote, stating yay or nay. You're muted, Haley.
Thought I had it. Thank you. Vanessa Carthel,
Yay.
Allison Cook Davis,
Yay.
Callie Lamers for Aaron Cowan-Haig,
Yay.
Jessica Cruz,
Yay.
Kathy Dinolfi,
Yay.
Anne Marie Johnston,
Yay.
Christina Lopez,
Yay.
Janet Flores for Marcy McFarland,
Sorry. Yay.
Jennifer Page,
Yay.
Gerardo Pena, Aaron Rain,
Aye.
Sarah Sims,
Yay.
Laura Scott Nikki,
Yay.
Michelle Stokes,
Aye.
Co-Chair Cruz,
Yay.
Co-Chair Johnson. Did I miss anyone?
Just said yes.
Thank you. The motion passes. Thank you. Back to you, Co-Chair Cruz.
Okay, as you all see, we are tabling the agenda item of the 201 project for the next until our November meeting. So moving on, decreasing returns to homelessness was identified as a part of the Maricopa Regional Continuum of Care's Board Strategic Plan. In order to accomplish this goal, the Maricopa Regional Continuum of Care Committee will form a work group to identify and increase connections to other systems of care to ensure individuals and families are connected to the right care and able to maintain housing stability. Haley will now give an overview of the connections to other systems of care work group.
Thank you, Co-Chair Cruz. The Connections to Other Systems of Care work group will focus on strategies to connect individuals and families to the systems of care needed to become and remain housed. This may include connecting to services that handle medical, behavioral health, and substance use treatment programs. I'd be happy to take any questions about the work group at this time. And if not, I will send it back to you, Co-Chair.
Okay, so who has questions? Jennifer, go ahead.
Hi there. I was just wondering how we can get included in that work group. If you could forward me
That's
the
the next
invite.
question.
Oh.
So that's a beautiful segue. So hold that question, just put a pin in it. But does anyone else have questions about this work group before we open up membership to the work group to see who's interested in sitting on that committee? Awesome. So since I hear none, I know I'm about to hear a bunch of people say, I want to do it because you fully understand it. So looking forward to that. And I'd love you all for your enthusiasm. So who is interested in sitting on the Connections to Other Systems of Care work group? Jennifer? We have Jennifer, we have Wendy,
Aaron Rain.
Aaron Rain, Michelle Stokes, Vanessa. Look at all of this. Y'all are just popping the hands. Okay. So Haley, make sure you're getting all of these hands because people are just raising their hand as well. So if you could, Haley, can you summarize, can you call out the names of the people that you caught so that we can make sure that we have everybody who said that they want to be a part of this group?
Sure. I saw a lot of hands go up and down, so please shout if I didn't get you. I have Ms. Page, Mr. Rain, Ms. Stokes, Ms. Carthel, Ms. Sims, Ms. Lopez, Ms. Cook Davis, and Co-Chair Johnson. Did I miss anyone?
Yes, Jessica Cruz from the Housing Authority of Maricopa County.
Sorry about that, Jessica. I got you now.
Thank you.
I see Allison's hand up still.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, I just want to make sure you weren't needing attention.
Thank you so much, everyone.
Awesome. So Lottie Dottie and everybody decided to sign up for that group, which is very good, very exciting. We appreciate your enthusiasm. Just a second. I'm just going back to my agenda. Sorry. There we go. There we go. Okay. 1 second. We did that. 201. My apologies there. Okay. So thank you so much to everyone who volunteered to sit on the Connections to Other Systems of Care work group. MAG staff will be reaching out to schedule the work group, and we will now move to the next agenda item, and I hand it over to Wendy.
Thank you, Richard. We are reviewing our request for future agenda items. And in light of some of the data we got today and the new committees, we will have things to add. But do you as committee members have any action or discussion items for future meetings? Vanessa, I see a hand up.
Hi there. So I'm leading the work group for the Move On strategy. We've been meeting for quite some time now, and I would like to give the committee an update on the work of that work group for the Move On strategy.
Excellent. Thank you, Vanessa. It's timely and we need it.
Thank you.
Anybody else have any future agenda items? Thank you all. We appreciate that. Now is comments from the committee. Is there anyone on the committee that has other announcements or events they would like to highlight?
I have two, Chair Johnson.
Please go ahead, Chair Cruz.
So the first, just from a number standpoint, we did our count this morning of those that are in the region directly around the campus, and our numbers were 998. Just like to let that sink in, because this time last year we were just about like between like 240, 250 or so, right? And so we're at 998. So I just, again, I want that to sink in for people when it comes to what's taking place. Also to take note of the unanimous decision to make panhandling illegal in the city of Glendale. That's also needs to be on everybody's radar, just around the understanding of how we continue to criminalize those that are experiencing homelessness. And then the last thing that I want to say is that in the beginning of the year, we were really charged up about getting back to being in person. And so I just want to raise that again to say, like, we need to be in person. I believe that our meetings will last longer than 34 minutes if we were in person. And I think that at a time when the numbers are as high as they are, it deserves an all hands on deck. I understand why it just kind of got off our radar. And so I just want to bring it back up and say that we need to look at each other in the face and not just in the Zoom. And hopefully, like November and moving forward, we can get back in person. And so I just want to plant that seed for the people in this space.
I'd like to share just something. Again, anecdotally, this is just a center's experience. We opened a 6-month pilot program in downtown Glendale on the corner of 55th Drive and Glendale. And within 48 hours, we had 6 police, 2 city people, and community members telling us we were causing homelessness by opening on that corner. The city of Glendale is underrepresented in our committees, in our work groups, and their homeless problem increased 136% from 2020 to 2022. They are just one municipality of all of our municipalities that are struggling to deal with homelessness and how to keep their communities safe. We had to close that pilot because in conjunction with our landlord, they literally drove us out. We closed on September 30th there. We're going to go back. We're just going to go back differently. And we want to bring more of you along on that so that we can be impactful in the West Valley. I think that the East Valley has done a much better job, in my opinion, in rallying support, community efforts, municipal efforts. Tempe, Mesa, even Gilbert and Chandler have jumped on the wagon. Guadalupe, I mean, really, you guys. I think there's more being done now than I've seen in my 4 years. But the West Valley is a blight. And that's where a lot of BIPOC folks are located and are under-resourced. And so I want to challenge you guys that are providers to look at your own programs and processes, to look at the West Valley as an area that needs the kind of attention that has been given to other areas in the Valley. And we need to continue working with municipalities that are in denial about homelessness being a community problem. It is very discouraging that they did that vote. That could be why we lost all of our folks in Glendale really quickly, because they didn't want to be arrested for an assumption of panhandling. As we move to Super Bowl, guys, we're going to see more of this criminalization and other issues coming up, and it discourages me very much. The other point that I would like to bring up, and I'm going to go to the Arizona, I'm going to work with other groups, but a 30-day non-renewal notice for most renters isn't enough time for them to find new housing. And especially those who have special needs, whether they are disabled or they are elderly or they are on limited income. And I personally am going to do my best to try to get landlord engagement on a 90-day non-renew to allow intervention to happen before homelessness. Our best cure for homelessness right now is housing, and we don't have it, and it's hard to get once you lose it. So I'm getting off my soapbox, but those are my comments right now. Thank you. Anyone else? Now that Haley's hand is up and I saw someone else's hand up. I don't know if it was Jessica or somebody else.
Thank you, Co-Chair Johnson. I just wanted to jump on what you were saying about the West Valley being underrepresented. As you know, we just opened new member recruitment. So this would be a great opportunity for anybody in the West Valley to apply and be represented in this committee and make sure that your voice is being heard. So whether you're a part of the city or an agency that serves that area, we would definitely super highly encourage you to apply. Thank you.
Great commercial, Haley. Thanks. Anyone else? Just unmute and speak. Identify yourself, please.
This is Laura with the Salvation Army. I just want to say that we open our utility and rent line every month. And this month we had to close it in less than 48 hours because we had over 400 requests for rent assistance and utility assistance. So that also happened last month. Last month we had 700 requests in 48 hours. So I would anticipate as we get closer to the holidays that that's going to continue to go up.
And this is Aaron, City of Mesa. To dovetail into what Wendy was saying, I think the big mission we need to take on here, particularly from a continuum of care perspective, is the messaging. If our elected officials are getting the support to support more homelessness related programs, we're going to see more traction in that area. And for us, particularly, the big shift came when the Morrison Institute survey through our police department highlighted that our citizens wanted more services and more interaction with the homeless population, that gave the city the desired, the political will, if you will, to do that. So if our elected officials are being pushed by the loudest voices that are saying, push homelessness out, then that's what's going to happen. So if we could change the messaging and, help give those elected officials the right motivation to do the right things, then that's where I think we need to spend some time on our the Hearts and Minds campaign, winning the hearts and minds to get people to support more services as opposed to just the strict enforcement.
Thanks, Aaron.
This is Jocelyn. Just on that note, from what Aaron was talking about, we found out yesterday that the Housing Supply Study Committee has canceled all their meetings until after the elections. So that was really disheartening. We were hoping that some good conversation was coming out of that to build policy and legislation around the session next year. So just wanted to put that on everybody's radar that we are definitely feeling the lack across the state with political will. But as always, I'm still hopeful what they did bring to the table that we'll be able to use for the session next year.
All right. Boy, that's some heavy duty stuff we're all juggling here. Richard has one more item.
One more. I would just strongly we need to think about policy that needs to be passed. And I'll just put that there. We're going to blink and we're going to be back in session, right? And I've talked to several high-level officials that have me feeling like this legislative session is going to be like Star Wars, whether it's Attack of the Clones or the Empire Strikes Back, that's what we're going to walk into. And so if we're not thinking through what policy needs to be pushed forward, or how those of us that are here together want to push policy forward, whether that's as the COC or from our various individual seats that we can collectively do so, we are missing an opportunity, and we will continue to operate in a space that's reactive. We know that the legislative climate that we're in is not favorable to our population. And I mean that from a nonpartisan space, because whether it's policies that are explicitly against our population or no policies at all, which then are against our population, we have to do some things to move some things. And, yes, we lean on the alliance to be able to do some things in that space, but that doesn't have to be the only voice that gets heard. They do a great job, but that doesn't have to be the only voice that gets heard. So I just want to raise that to say, we really need to be looking at, are there policies and legislation that we potentially want to put forward? Because we can't wait for Superman, because Superman's over in Metropolis and we live in Phoenix. So we got to do some work.
Allison.
Hi. Yeah, hi. Allison Cook Davis from Morrison Institute for Public Policy. I just wanted to mention, as just sort of by way of note, that many of you may already be aware of this, but the Home Matters to Arizona group has led a sort of communications collaborative effort around communicating these sort of messages about the importance of housing for all, and they have put together. They're working collaboratively with Javelina as a partner to develop a kind of a more united communication strategy around housing and, you know, I mean, and sort of trying to sort of make the arguments that I think we're all trying to make in terms of everyone sort of deserves a home here in our communities, and kind of making way for those messages and those potential policy shifts, and also support for electeds to push that forward. And I just wanted to note that they're actually having a meeting today, which is open for like sort of the public. It's just a Zoom meeting to sort of review some of the work that they've done in this space. They're looking to develop a kind of a communications toolkit for organizations, for nonprofits, for people who want to be able to talk sort of in a unified way around housing. And I do believe that this work group has been done in collaboration with MAG as well. So thought I would just put it out there.
Allison, do we, or Haley, is that posted anywhere on the MAG site where we can access that meeting?
I can send the information to you, Haley, if that's helpful, and you could send it out more broadly.
Yeah, that would be great. Thank you.
Yeah, I would like to attend that for sure. Laura has her hand up.
I apologize. I already said what I wanted to. Thank you.
Oh, I was hoping to hear from you again. All right. I just one last thing of the importance of this. If our electors vote to defund, change, or reduce Social Security and other entitlements, back of the envelope number for Maricopa County is 100,000 seniors at risk of losing housing within 90 days. That will make our 5,000 on the streets right now look pretty manageable. And I always joke, we have canes and walkers, don't mess with us seniors. So we have got a mounting crisis for all of the ages, and we need to be prepared. So
Wendy, can you repeat that again? How many seniors?
Back of the envelope, this is an estimate based on population of 64 and older. In the Valley, 30% is what every study shows of people who are solely dependent on Social Security for their income. That does not include SSDI. Folks, that's another incremental percentage. But based on that, approximately 100,000 seniors would be facing housing insecurity within 90 days. Which means that they would be reducing medical prescriptions or facing massive food insecurity to pay bills, or their utilities will be shut off. And this is a number that is pervasive throughout the United States. My 100,000 that I'm touting is a low estimate based on how many high income community retirement communities we have. And in particular, the folks that are living in places like unregulated mobile home parks and places like that are extremely vulnerable.
That's so heavy.
I know, it keeps me up at night. It really does. Thanks for letting me share that, guys. My burden is now our burden. And if we have nothing else, I'd like to sign off on a high note that without exception, it appears that we are all working together toward one goal of ending homelessness in our valley. What we have to do, and what Aaron highlighted and Jocelyn and Richard, is that our message has to be taken away from the view from the camper point of view, because people always assume the worst about those on the streets. And we've got to get the messaging that the issue is a lack of housing, period. And then we can deal with the folks who have chronic or comorbidity issues that make them resistant to housing. But if we don't get the families and the young people aging out of foster care and the elderly into affordable housing, we are facing a catastrophe that cannot be measured right now. Because the other end of the spectrum is Maricopa County. 1/3 of Maricopa County is under the age of 25. 1/3 is over the age of 55. And so when you consider that most of the people who suffer homelessness fall into one of those two categories, that's a lot of population. So thanks. And if there's nothing further, oh, wait, Christina.
I just wanted to add to that, Wendy, we will be opening our second youth shelter in the West Valley at the end of November. It's going to be in Surprise. So we will have navigators out in the West Valley moving forward. So we'd love to partner with you when you open up again and get some youth into our shelter there in Surprise. It's going to be the largest one yet. So
excellent. We saw a lot of youth and even minors who were not with any kind of parental unit, who were avoiding homes with addiction or abuse. And there was just, we referred them to you and to you, Mom, and other places, but they showed back up. You know, they felt safer elsewhere. And so I'm excited for that. Christina, make sure that that gets into everybody's announcements in November, because I think we all know someone that we've encountered who shouldn't be on the street. So.
Definitely.
All right, muy bien, folks. That's happy news, a new shelter for you. I hope you all have a happy Halloween. The memes going around about Halloween are making me laugh till I cry, so I hope you're laughing too. Have a great week, and we will see you next month.
Thank you. Bye-bye.